What's poppin', y'all? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? As of recording this, it has been a year since I released, I mean, it's not my first ROM hack technically, but it is like my main, I guess, the ROM hack I'm known for. Pokemon Sweltering Sun, alright? It's been a year, so happy birthday to Pokemon Sweltering Sun. I'm making this video because I want to announce a new project. I don't know where the hell to look, bro. Like, look at the camera, I don't know. I'm like super blown up, so I just don't know if I should look which direction. Whatever. I don't script my videos, you guys know this. I kind of just like to talk. I'm a top yapper. But look, point is, I am working on a new ROM hack. And if this is your first time seeing my channel, I don't know why YouTube would recommend this to you, but welcome. Shout out to you. You could join the Discord server down below in the description. You could check out my other videos. I have tons of content surrounding Pokemon Sweltering Sun. And basically, this is just an announcement video for my next ROM hack, and I want to kind of talk about a whole bunch of stuff surrounding it. This music's a little tiny bit too loud, for me at least. Or it's just hard to focus. I don't know. It's like I love this battle theme. That's why I picked it. But yeah, there's tons of stuff I want to talk about in regards to Pokemon Scrambled Scarlet. And before I even get into any of it, I want to make sure that you check out. I've released a 2-hour long. I don't expect everybody to watch all 2 hours. It's more just for people who like to listen to me ramble or my thought process behind things. But you can check out that video, or you can check out the rule sheet and see the move sheet. It is a work in progress. I would share it on screen, but I have a whole 2-hour video of me unpacking the whole last thing, so like I don't really see a point in that. But basically, yeah, I'm working on a new ROM hack, Pokemon Scrambled Scarlet. Yes, I know both have the SS as the name scheme, but first, I mean, I can explain why I called it this. There's so many things I want to talk about. This is still in development. The only thing I have officially completed is the move sheet, and then I've put in all the data for all the moves like into the files. I haven't actually written the new descriptions yet, so that's what I've been working on as of uploading this video. That's what I'm working on. I am a full-time. I mean, I'm a college student, right? Like, I'm going into grad school this year. Like, I'm literally going into grad school. I'm probably going to move and stuff. So, I got big things coming up in my personal life, but I still try to make a lot of time. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of, enough free time at least to work on this, this kind of stuff. But it's always something I want to emphasize is that this is all self-indulgent, right? This is all for me. Like, I made these games. I started making ROM hacks for myself. I made them, and I still make them with the intention that I want to play them. So I designed them around, I balanced them and designed them around things that I like, things that I want. And obviously a lot of those things are good things, or, things that people should try. But at the end of the day, it is still like self-indulgent. That's the heart of it all, right? Otherwise I wouldn't really have as much motivation to make it in the first place. So I guess I can start with the name. The name. Why am I calling this Scrambled Scarlet? Actually, first I'm going to address some concerns people might have about this being a Gen 9, a Scarlet and Violet hack. I would be like, you don't need like a NASA PC to run Ryujinx. I would definitely recommend Ryujinx over Yuzu. I would definitely recommend Ryujinx over Yuzu to play this. It's really not that hard. Like, it's not that bad. I mean, this might be like, I have a decent PC, but it's not. I don't have like it was good for like when I bought it in like 2016, but it's not that good. I mean, it's like got good specs, I guess. But point is, you can definitely. I can run Scarlet and Violet like super nicely. Like it runs smooth, like 40, 50, 60 FPS, even more. It runs at good speed, good graphics. But not everybody has a good enough computer to do that. But I would like, the Switch is such a shitty console that you can probably, especially if you go to the Ryujinx settings and you turn on handheld mode, like, it might not look incredible, but like it'll look probably as good or better, and probably run as good or better than it runs on the Switch. It runs like 20 FPS half the time on the Switch anyway. So you'd be surprised. I know a lot of you might be like, oh, I can't play this. I'll keep up to date. And if you do end up testing it out and seeing if it actually does run on your computer, and it does, that's great. But don't just dismiss it. Don't just like immediately be like, oh, I can't play that because I don't have a good computer. Give it a try. You would be surprised. I would, go, procure your Scarlet or Violet game. I obviously can't tell you how to do that, but you can figure it out. You can also, of course, hack your Switch, but that is its own thing, and not every Switch is hackable, so that's more of like a, if you can, of course, you can go ahead and do that and play on your Switch as well. But yeah, just my point is, I want to emphasize, don't like dismiss this project just because you think you might not be able to play it, because you'd be surprised. You probably low-key maybe could, especially even if you don't think you could. So that's that out of the way. Yeah, I'm super excited. It has, tons of Pokemon in it, tons of awesome new moves I get to work with. Again, the moves are pretty significantly reworked. This game is, I guess what I want to address, two major things I want to address. the overall thought process and I guess approach I want to take with this. Oh, I didn't put loop on the freaking song. Oops. All right. I put the loop on now. We're good. So yeah, bro. Basically, I want to again. Y'all know I'm a rambler, so hopefully this shouldn't go over like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's not like that in depth of the video. I just want to kind of announce it and talk about some things. So the name, and then I wanted to also cover not only the name but the thought process behind it, and what to expect, that kind of thing. It's going to be, oh yeah, I wanted to clarify that it's not just going to be Sweltering Sun 2, because I think a lot of people, even low-key myself, even going into this, is like, okay, I kind of just transfer over a lot of stuff. It's going to be a lot. Like, as I've began working on it for the last few months. Also, if you're wondering why I haven't been streaming as much or really at all, or uploading shorts, first of all, I kind of just hate making shorts. That shit's kind of black. I don't like it. It's so, like, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of YouTube shorts, man. I don't know if I'll keep making them or not, but what's it called? I essentially want to clarify that it's not just Sweltering Sun 2. Like, it is genuinely going to be, again, every week I'm working on this, I'm realizing this is really going to be like a different experience, its own thing. The moves balancing is completely different than Sweltering Sun. The fact that you have access to an infinite move relearner, the fact that every single Pokemon gets access to 3 abilities at a given time, like, that's a huge deal. That completely changes, the gameplay dynamics. Terrasolization, that's a whole thing. That's its own unique mechanic. Again, tons of not only new moves, but also rebalanced moves from Sweltering Sun. All of them, I would say the moves in general are a lot more balanced. Although, again, having move relearner makes it a completely different game. Not to mention, I am designing this with item claws in mind, so I'll talk more about that in like a difficulty type of video. But basically, I'm like, bro, I don't know where the hell to look at the camera. Let me move myself over. That'll probably make this a lot easier. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's much better. Now I can actually look at myself and the camera at the same time. So, yeah, basically, I want to clarify that it's not gonna be Sweltering Sun 2. I keep repeating myself, but I'm just, yeah. I don't script my stuff. I just like to talk. It's going to be a lot different because of all these various factors, right? Like, the balancing. Like, I get to kind of take what I learned from making Sweltering Sun and, like, apply that to a new game. And then, of course, I have tons of new abilities, tons of new moves. New abilities, too, like Gen 8 and 9 abilities to work with. Pre-status abilities are going to be allowed in this game, so stuff like, Poison Heal, Guts, that type of stuff is going to be allowed because 90% of the fights in the game pre-heal you. So I can kind of just have it be like a honor code type of thing, like, okay, for the fights that don't heal you, just don't, I can kind of trust the player. I should probably address the damn name. I'm sorry. For those of you who are listening, like, why did you call it Scramble Scarlet? Look, if you have any questions about the game, join my Discord server. I'm very active in there. You can ask me all the questions you want in there, or other people can answer your questions, whatever. So, don't wait for me to get to it because it might take me a little while. I'll answer the question now, all right? I'll answer this first. Why am I calling it Scrambled Scarlet? It's called Scrambled Scarlet. As you can see, there's the whole egg theme. Shout out to I'm pointing in the wrong direction. Shout out to Dingus from my Discord. The GOAT made that logo for me free of charge. He's the GOAT. Looks very nice. I think it's very cute. So the reason it's called Scrambled Scarlet is because basically the game is going to be designed to be played as an egg lock. And this is for a couple of reasons. Number one, wild encounter editing in Scarlet, a lot of the Scarlet and Violet editing tools in general are a lot less like streamlined or easy to use. And Gen 7 is already like not the greatest to use, but like it's simple, or like the UI. For this, I have to do a lot more manual stuff. Like I actually have to learn some shit about like making file converting things to like translate certain game files to make them readable to edit, whatever. I had to do manual editing basically because the only editor at the time of recording this is Project Sky, and that only works for like Pokemon stats and abilities and all that, like Pokemon traits, which is going to be a very useful tool. Although I actually am going to have to make my own edits to the tool, and I have to ask the creator about that because I need to. Sweltering Sun, my types of games, duos, hacks, they change every move, and there's tons of 100 new move names that I have to put in and new ability names I have to put in. And I have to swap out some TMs and stuff in the editor. So that's going to be, I have to figure that out. But point is, the editor tool for Scarlet and Violet is very limited. And the most important point, and I cannot get to the damn point, y'all. the reason I'm calling this Scrambled Scarlet, the reason it's an egg lock, right? The reason this is designed to be an egg lock. And again, so one thing I want to also do is like, I don't want to enforce as many rules as much as people can just have an intended rule set, but you can play however the hell you want. You might not have like, if you're totally casual, that's great. Like for example, in Sweltering Sun, healing items are disabled by default. set mode is like intended. But in here, not only is set mode not exist anymore, although I do obviously intend for the player to like play on it, like basically just not switch out when it asks you to switch. I can't enforce that. I also think at this point, if there's all this stuff that I can't enforce, why not just also have the healing items be something that is like optional? Play without heals if you want. I intended it that way, but if you want to play super casually and you want to just heal your mons and just go and play the game, play however you want. You can use healing items now. So that's another thing I wanted to, because I think some people were complaining about that as well, and it's a reasonable complaint because it is something that you can enforce on your own. So the reason it's an egg lock, all right. The editor is very rudimentary, and one of the worst things to edit in Scarlet Violet is wild encounters. Y'all can go try to look into it yourselves, and you trust me, it is bad. There are like 170,000 plus Pokemon spawns that you have to manually edit, like the levels for manually. It's absurd. Like, it is nothing like older gen Pokemon wild encounter editing, because the wild encounters function completely new. And another issue I have with, even if I did take all that insane amount of effort to physically edit them, also balancing what points you can get certain Pokemon is really fucking hard in an open world game, because yeah, I can have honor code for when you should get certain things or whatever, but that's not really gonna work, that's not really gonna work, because for certain Pokemon, because people can always just go out of the intended route, not to mention the areas are open, it's not linear, so it's just difficult to enforce that. If you see a Pokemon in the wild, what's gonna stop you from catching it? The levels. And then it's just a shitload of work, and I cannot understate how much work goes into these hacks. So I wouldn't call it cutting corners, but one of my least favorite parts is doing the wild Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That shit is annoying. I don't find it fun. It's kind of fun to pick flavorful places for Pokemon to be placed, but in general, it just feels more like a limitation to me. So egg lock is awesome for me because another issue with with the way encounters work in Scarlet and Violet is, even if I could edit them easily, and I decided to put all of the insane amount of effort and work it would take to edit them and balance the locations and the levels and all that shit, it's not random. They're in the, they're overworld encounters, so how the hell are you supposed to do a nuzlocke? You can put it in a wheel and spin it, but that's dude, fuck that, all right? That sucks. So a really cool solution I thought of that makes this 20 million times easier for me. That section, obviously the other parts of development are going to take equally as much, probably more time than it took for Sweltering Sun. It's a lot of work, a shitload of work goes on these games, man. So, editing, even just the move editing took me 2 months of 8 hours a day, some days. Obviously it depends on how much shit I have to do that day, but there were some days I would do it for 10 hours, just logging shit or planning shit out, whatever. So, and it's been a month and a half of that. And that's just for the moves, bro, and I'm not even done. I have to do the descriptions, all the move descriptions, and then there's a bunch of million other things I have to do. So the point of me saying all this is it's an egg lock, and what that means is I'm going to have the player put in eggs from Pika Hex. I'm gonna tier them up once I get done with all the Pokemon changes. This is towards the very end, before trainers, after Pokemon changes are all done. And yes, for those of you who are wondering, I will be releasing videos, Pokemon change videos, talking about yeah, we'll be releasing Pokemon change videos for all these Pokemon, because they're another thing I wanted to clarify is the Pokemon are going to be a lot different than they were in Sweltering. Obviously, case by case, but the fact that there's a different Pokedex, there's new Pokemon, some Pokemon are missing from Sweltering Sun, that alone means the overlap between certain Pokemon is going to be a lot different, so I can do different things. Some of them I also I have more tools, more abilities, they're all I cannot really, there'll be very few Pokemon that are one-to-one. I would say probably none, actually, that are one-to-one. Not to mention Move Relearner and all the new moves. They're all going to get new moves and shit, at the very least. And a lot of them, you get 3 abilities, so that's already different. And a lot of them are going to have 3 different abilities in Sweltering Sun, different type combos, that type of thing. Different takes on the Pokemon a lot of the time. And I'll release videos for all of them when I get around to, eventually getting to the Pokemon changes. But that's a little whiles away still. I got other shit I need to figure out first. But yeah, that's super fun. Something to look forward to. Back on topic with the name, though, and the egg lock thing. So, essentially, this egg lock is going to be tiers, right? So, first gym, you get 3 boxes or however many boxes of eggs. I don't know the exact specifics of it yet. It's either going to be every gym badge or every boss fight. It's one of the two. Because there's 23, 8 bosses in the main game, something like that. 5 plus 8 plus another 5, so 18. And then the Elite 4 and shit. So yeah, 18 bosses. So I can either have 18 checkpoints or just the 8 for each gym. It just depends on how strict I want to be with what points certain Pokemon. Like if this Pokemon feels too OP for this gym leader, but then it's fine for the next one, whatever. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Point is though, tiers for eggs, right? And you essentially will just pick a random egg. And there you go. That's your encounter, and it's gonna make it so I don't have to worry. I can put Pokemon wherever the fuck I want them to be. I also just think egg locks are fucking cool. It's like a little, you pick your mon out of a hat. It's really fun. It's really charming. I think the logo and the name, Scrambled Scarlet, like eggs, scrambled eggs. Obviously, that's a joke. And then also the game itself is kind of like scrambled around. Like the order of bosses are gonna be different. I'm gonna have a certain path, so that way you can get to Larry relatively quickly, because then you can change your Terra types. And man, I can't wait to talk about like the intended difficulty for this game too, because Terra is gonna be essentially, and obviously play however you want. Again, like you could buy Terra shards in the mart now, that type of thing, and you can change your Terra type every boss fight if you want to. If that makes the game more fun for you, or you think cheesing the AI every fight with like Terra types is fun, go more power to you. You can do that. There's nothing stopping you. But the intended difficulty is going to be to RNG your Terra on your Mon once, and I'll talk more about this in a separate video explaining the difficulty when the game's done. So I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but basically just RNGing your Terra and then sticking with that Terra type makes the Terra type feel more unique. It feels more individual to that Pokemon. Same thing with natures, instead of changing your nature every fight, you just pick one RNG'd nature for your guy, and there you go. And you don't have to play that way, but that's the way I think I would intend it to be played, and the way I think I feel would be most fun and like rewarding and whatever. So yeah, basically you can RNG your Terra type, pick that Terra type. Same goes for nature, and item clause is going to be enforced, because I noticed a lot of the fights, if in sweltering, are like, especially because of infinite eject button. Yeah, infinite eject button is no longer. There's no more infinite eject button in Scrambled Scarlet. The fact that you have access to infinite move learner makes the game like 20 million times, like you have so much more flexibility with your Pokemon. So I don't think you need a broken tool like infinite eject button. And I also think that as fun as it is in sweltering, and as unique as it is in sweltering, it does kind of make the game pretty easy if you know what you're doing. And I don't know, it's like kind of boring sometimes. Like your Pokemon is just delegated to holding the button forever and it doesn't do anything else, So it kind of gets lame at times. Feels like, especially on Teamlocked, like one of your Mons is kind of just using the eject button 90% of the time, and it feels lame. So I love Sweltering's fun for what it is, but I think getting a second opportunity to rebalance things in a totally new game is gonna be really fun for me, because yeah, eject button with item clause, single use eject button with item clause is like nothing. It's a great item still, but it's not. And you got eject pack too, which is sick with all the Draco Meteor Claw. Dude, I'm excited for Gen 9, man. There's so many cool tools I can give. It's so fun. I do recommend you check out that video on the moves. Or at least look at the move sheet in the description. That's the only thing that's like finalized for your viewing right now is the move sheet. As of recording this, if you're watching this shit down the line, the game might be done by now. Who knows? It might be 2 years from now. I don't know when you're watching this, but shout out to you if you're watching this. If you got this far in the video, leave a comment. Comment, I don't know, scrambled eggs or some. I don't know. Comment something. Just let me know you watched it to this far. That'd be pretty cool, because I am rambling. It's about to be 20 minutes, but maybe I'll make a 30-minute video. I don't know. Who cares, bro? I'm talking my shit. So yeah, that's why it's called Scrambled Scarlet. Okay, egg lock type in game mode, and obviously you don't have to play that way, but then the Mon placements would be a bit scuffed. DLC is a good question. I haven't fully decided how I want to incorporate it. I'll either have both be post game, and I wanted to maybe something I wanted to mention. A DLC for now is probably not anything I want to worry about, because I think getting a main game story down is main boss progression is more important than anything post game, because I never tend to care about post game, because my games are designed to be replayed a bunch. If you play as the intended team locked style, you're intended to run through it multiple times with different teams of Pokemon each time. That's kind of the point. You get to bond with your guys each time. You get to bond with your Pokemon instead of just kind of like, again, play however you want, but I'm not a fan of traditional hardcore nuzlockes, because number one, I think they're fucking easy, unless the game is like brutally hard. I think they're pretty easy because you can kind of just counter team everything. I think it's not very creative. I think a lot of the time Mons are limited to very limited roles, and you don't really get to be super creative with what your Pokemon can do. And I think it's cool to be able to be creative with what your Pokemon can do and have new takes on Pokemon and things that people don't really think about with these Pokemon, and giving them cool buffs in that regard. So I think my hacks are very unique. Some people might not like them. They might think I changed too much. Everything's broken. Stupid fucking like unfounded criticisms or criticisms that people aren't misinformed, I guess, or uninformed criticisms. But at the end of the day, even if people are informed, it might just not be their cup of tea, and that's totally valid. I wouldn't expect it to be. I kind of designed. Again, as I said earlier in the video, it's self-indulgent, right? Like it's for me, bro. It's just for me. At the end of the day, it's what appeals to me, and I'm not really ever gonna change it too much to play into the mass audience, because this is like a niche thing. It's something that I care about. It's something that I want to do. That's what I'm gonna do. So, and I do think the approach is genuinely very nuanced and good, and I think a lot of people should actually give it more of a chance instead of just kind of dismissing it. But a lot of Pokemon fans are kind of narrow-minded, or kind of just they like what they like, you know, and they just don't want to. They don't want to learn a new. And also, some people just like to play ROM Hack super casually and don't like to learn a bunch of new shit or play with new changes. They like, oh, I just like the shit doing what it does in vanilla, but maybe a little bit extra, you know. And that's valid. But anyway, no shade to you if you're that type of person. But yeah, difficulty. I mean, what else do I need to talk about? Item clause. That really changes it up. Like as I was saying, combined with the eject button, a lot of fights felt very samey with like quick claw / scarf spam on like half your mons. Very really like besides outside of the early game, you wouldn't run defensive sets too often. Lack of relearner meant your Pokemon were kind of shoehorned into specific roles on Teamlocked a lot of the time. It has its own unique problems, and I think some of them can be really fun. I also think the dynamic of picking your moves and having to stick with them is also fun, and also adds like strategy and knowledge of the game to it. But I think having relearner is going to make experimentation a lot more fun. I think item clause is going to make experimentation pretty much necessary, because you can't just run, scarf, quick claw, pivot move, and just kind of switch kill. And you still can kind of do that, but it's going to be a lot harder and a lot more nuanced now. So I'm really excited about that. The crit, one of the big changes is all the guaranteed crit moves, like the Wicked Blow, Surging Strikes type clones. Not only there are a lot more of them now, but they all have Gigaton Hammer's effect of not being able to be clicked twice in a row. Quite a few moves have that effect now. Tons of new abilities I get to work with. I'm super excited, man. There's so many new things I can do with this game that I didn't get to do with Sweltering Sun, or that it's fun. I love doing this, man. So that's that. So I guess I kind of explained the name. Oh, the boss fight order. Yeah, the boss fight order. So down the line, I plan on making, if I get bored after, I don't know when. I don't have any estimated release date. Maybe by the end of the year, hopefully, probably. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I have, I'm literally going to grad school in this fall, bro. So I couldn't tell you. But at the same time, I do spend all my, it's free time. I spend it on this because it's fun and it makes me happy. So, God, I'm losing my train of thought, y'all. Sorry, don't click off the video. I promise. Yeah. Boss fight order. Yeah. So the boss fight order is going to be relatively scrambled around, or swift shifted around to be a little bit more linear, but also still like make sense. And then what I want to do in the future is maybe make a couple alternate versions with different paths. I think that'd be really cool. Like, one version you go in this order, next version you go in a different order. Obviously, I can't make it. I'm not a fucking like programmer, dude. I can't like open the Scarlet Violet code and just do some magic to like make the levels scale and make each order you did it in. Like, that's not something you can really do with Gen 9, man. You could do that with like a Gen 3, decomp type of hack probably, but I think Gen 3 hacks are very overrated and very bloated and boring personally. But yeah, so basically the goal is to eventually make at least maybe like 2 or 3 other versions of different orders, relatively. But the first order will still be different than vanilla, which is also should make it feel different. Not to mention, obviously the whole game is completely different because everything is mechanically, at least, is changed and shifted around and reworked. So, yeah, this time around there's gonna be more AI only moves, type of thing, like moves I designed specifically for the AI. Because there's just so many moves, a lot more signature and exclusive moves, no more widespread guaranteed flinch cheese moves. I think just the fact that infinite eject button doesn't exist will also make the game a lot more balanced and more fun to play. I mean, again, some people I love the infinite eject button, but after just playing the game over a dozen times, I've noticed some trends with that type of playstyle, the playstyle that encourages, I guess. And obviously that I have done, there's always cool techs. I've done cool techs in all my runs. You guys have seen if you've watched the runs, the streams and stuff. But yeah, this should be a lot different. Every run should feel really different, I think. Even more so than Sweltering, so that will also encourage replaying. Yeah, what else do I want to talk about, man? Move the hack name, boss fight order, difficulty I kind of touched on a bit. Pokemon changes being, like, everything being a lot different than Sweltering in general. Yeah, I don't think there's too much else to really talk about. I mean, this is going to 25 minutes, pushing 25, bro, so I should probably stop talking. I just wanted to announce this. Join my Discord server for more updates. Anybody who's listened this far is probably already in the Discord server. If you're not, if you got this far and you're not in the Discord server, please join. You probably like being in there if you listen this far in. Comment down below if you listen to the end. Shout out to you. Appreciate you a lot. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything before I end this. Am I forgetting anything I want to talk about? I should have made like at least a little checklist, but my ass is not. I can do extremely detailed and thorough work for some things, and then I I kind of wing a lot of other shit. That's just how I am. But I think I've touched on pretty much everything. The moves being a lot different, Pokemon changes being a lot different. No, move relearner being a thing is like huge. Just that existing is huge. Sweltering Sun's anniversary. I'm not going to be streaming or playing Sweltering Sun as much anymore because I'm working on this. Game's not dead. I mean, I literally put out an update, one of the final updates probably for it, today, like as I'm uploading this on the anniversary of Sweltering. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate y'all. My voice is cracked. I appreciate y'all like listening to this. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. You know, being interested in what I'm doing. Yep. Leave a comment down below. Shout out to you. Okay, let me really just calm my brain. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything important I want to talk about. Obviously, I'm going to talk more about the difficulty when the game's actually like done, and I can make a video like kind of covering that more properly or thoroughly. But yeah, I think I covered pretty much everything. Wild encounters being Egglock. Yeah, it's going to be a lot different than Sweltering Sun, and that also makes me excited because I was kind of concerned. Like, I wasn't concerned. I went into it thinking it was going to be similar, but it actually is like going to be very different. The philosophy of approaching Pokemon changes is going to be similar, but that's really it. Like, you know, there's going to be like moves carried over, but not all of them are carried over. In fact, and the ones that are, quite a few are different or changed or reworked. So, yeah, I'm excited. Hope you are too. Shout out to you if you listen this far into the video. And peace. I hope. Last chance to say anything. Nah, I think I'm good. All right. Peace.